of WLAF TV 12, 1450 WLAF Radio, FM 100.9, or 1450WLAF.com.
Stop by Heights Finance Corporation today and see Sandy List for all your financial needs. We're located in the Carl Pierce Furniture Building at 220 East Central Avenue in LaFollette, Tennessee. We offer loans from $500 to $100,000. Former bankruptcies are welcome, so give them a call. Call 563-6797. That's 563-6797. Or stop by their office 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday.
The Mule Pro FXT can't handle. The 2015 Mule Pro FXT. The Mule Pro FXT is engineered to smooth out the most rugged terrain. Over 8.5 inches of suspension travel make uneven surfaces feel a lot less jarring, while a tight 16-foot turning radius combined with electric power steering means easy and effortless cornering on a dime. Engine braking is tuned for a controlled feel when heading downhill, and high output LED headlights light up the way. Round out this exceptional package with the maximum stopping power of front and rear disc brakes, and there's almost nothing the Mule Pro FXT can't handle. The 2015 Mule Pro FXT.
I'm Ann Love with Linda Kilgore State Farm Agency. I have worked in the insurance and financial services industry for over 20 years, formerly with the John R.W. Brown Agency. I'm a native Campbell County and enjoy helping people with their insurance needs. Stop by and see me for all your insurance needs.
Riggs Drugs has been a part of Campbell County for generation after generation, serving our friends and neighbors. And now we have redesigned our store to better serve you. It's the same knowledgeable and friendly staff, but a new look and new technology to ensure you get your prescriptions fast. We've always got you covered from prescriptions to all your home health needs. We've always been more than a pharmacy, still offering a huge selection of gifts and decor here at the new and improved Riggs Drugs.
Are you missing out on extra Medicare benefits that you may be entitled to? Hi, my name is Blake McCoy with Independent Insurance Consultants. If you have Medicare A and B and have Medicaid, TennCare, Q&B, or receive extra help on your prescription, drug premium, and copays, I want to make sure that you are receiving all the extra benefits that you are entitled to. Call me toll-free today, 1-866-691-5571, and let me help you.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome again to Campbell County Issues. Tonight I got a big show for you, I hope, but again, I know we'll get stray, go off on another subject or whatever. Now, I got the gentleman from the insurance company will be here with me in just about 10 minutes, and get your pen and paper and write down your questions or whatever. He's here to because there's been a lot of changes made, and I know I've got one or two questions that I need answered, and so I hope you'll get that out. But first of all, I want to read you a letter, and we talked about abortions last week, and this is, and I know this person, I've never met her, but I know she writes me letters ever so often and tells me about her family and her kids. But I want to just read this before, and then I want you to think about it when we come back, and we'll get off of that subject pretty quick, but there are some other things that we need to talk about. It says, "Hi, Ariel. After watching your show tonight, I want to tell you about some things that has happened in my family concerning the abortion issue and others about letting a baby die in order to save the mother. When my grandmothers first got married, I guess abortion wasn't even heard of much back then. And almost everyone had their babies at home. When my grandmother had her first child, which was around 1915, there were complications, and in order for her to live, they had to let the baby die. My grandma had 3 other children, but the last one died at the age of 2 from measles. She almost lost her mind, and she even never did get over her little baby's death. My grandmother's sister had 4 children by the time she was 27 years old. The doctor gave her husband strict orders to not get her pregnant again because she would not live through another pregnancy. Well, that advice fell on deaf ears. She ended up pregnant again, and both her and the baby died in childbirth. There she was, dead at age 29, and leaving 4 children without a mother. I don't remember exactly what happened, but these children had to live with their mother's family until they all got older. They all didn't go to the same home because times were so hard back then, and different families members took them in. These children's daddy remarried and had 8 or 9 children by his new wife, and he lived happy ever after. And I would insert in there, I guess, he lived to be an old man. If he had taken the doctor's advice, maybe his first wife could have lived a lot longer and could have taken care of her 4 children. I'm pretty much on the same page as you are concerning these matters, and I just wanted to share this with you, and you are welcome to share this story on your show. Now, one of the things that I'd want to mention here is men also has responsibility. And as far as I'm concerned, if we're going to put the gun to the woman's head and kill them, then why not put the gun to that man's head? I mean, that's a long time ago, but the scenario is what I'm talking about. Why should men ever be involved? Now, I know way back then it was different. It was a lot different. But there's always ways then and now to, I guess, not get people, women pregnant once the doctor says, okay, you're putting a gun to your head when you let it happen. And when you do it, you're going to die. And the man will sit back and say, well, I'm a man, I gotta be satisfied. So, he's the one who's got the gun. And I'm just saying there should be, if the man's going to be involved in decision making in these terms, then they should be accountable. But in today's world, the way this thing is happening, men are not accountable at all. There's absolutely no accountability toward the man. And the woman's all in, having to take all the risk. And you know, Well, anyway, I just wanted to read that letter and share it with you. It needs to be just, I know if my wife had decided to do that, to have an abortion, I'd have supported her all the way. If she wanted to have a kid, I supported her all the way. Because it absolutely was not and should not have been my decision. I should be a supporter of the woman's decision. If there's a life involved, and I'm going to, and I believe that you should err on the life that's already there. I don't think the error should be made and taking a chance with an unborn child. And believe me, I want the children, I want them to be born, I want them to be loved, and I want them to be taken care of. Now, I do know a person, she had a challenged child, and that person lived till that and got very old until that child died. And it wasn't long till she died. I know that there's mothers out there that can handle that, but if the choice is there and it's a matter of life and death for them at that time, men don't need to be involved. But anyway, I got a guest here. I wanted to get that off my chest. I've got a couple other things I'm going to talk to you about. I'm going to talk to you about Obamacare. In fact, about it, I've got a few little notes here. Then I'm going to talk about unions. I'm talking about the unions that most of us in this county and Scott County grew up with, the United Mine Workers. And there's some differences. I've changed my mind about some to a certain extent, and this way and that way. But in the 2016 election, the unions is going to be a huge part of the campaigns. The right to work law is going to be against the union. It's going to be on the ballot. You can bet on it. I mean, it's going to be one of the main topics that's going to be talked about and studied. So I want to kind of talk about that a little bit tonight. And the headlines about the young lady that was the counselor to Barkley. Now, whenever I read this, she totally denied that while she was I guess, I don't know, she was a counselor to Barkley, and she was accused of having a sexual relationship with him or her dad, or his dad, one or the other. And she totally denied, while she was a counselor, that she ever had any kind of contact in that way. But she didn't say that she never had contact before or after. But while she was his counselor, she's totally denied that she had any kind of personal relationships, I guess, with Barclays. Okay? We'll talk about that a little bit. So anyway, I got my guest here. He can come on in. Come on in here, Mark.
Hey, RL, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Just have a sit down.
Good to see you.
And
Appreciate you inviting me up.
well, I'm telling you, I've got a couple questions. Back when I called you, and believe it or not, my wife got a done for $500 for lab work. So anyway, we got with them, and they sent us an itemized statement. So actually, the lab work, but I don't know why they sent it as a $500 but still it was $400 just for the lab.
We run into things like that occasionally with billing departments at the providers. A lot of times there'll be a miscommunication there, and the main part of a bill will be sent off to the insurance company, and part of it will get left off. So the best thing a person in that situation can do is verify that their insurance information is on file with whoever did that part of the billing. Okay, and make sure it was submitted to the insurance company. What I've seen happen a lot of times is a part of it will fall out and not get billed to the insurance company, and they just kick out to the person that had the treatment done. Okay, whoever your insurance company is, they actually have a claims department that you can contact, and you can verify that they've even received a bill in the first place. The insurance company cannot pay on your behalf if they don't receive a bill from whoever sent the bill.
Sure.
And so that's usually what I find happens, especially with a more complicated hospital stay or something like that. They have different groups within that hospital that have to prepare and submit their own billing.
Well, now, whenever we submitted the insurance cards, whenever just before she went in,
Right, on the admission, yes.
But we had to pay them up front $1,000 cash to satisfy them to go into and get it done.
That's a hospital requirement. That is not an insurance requirement. Hospitals, I've run into different hospitals that will charge people up front for the deductibles instead of paying them on the backside. That is a determination that the hospital makes.
Oh, okay.
Okay, under your plan, no matter which plan you have, which company, your copays are your copays. Now, I've had some people tell me about a plan that has a lot of people have it. Now, of course, I don't ever mention names on companies, but there's a plan a lot of people have that has a zero hospital copay. And I've heard a lot of those people say that local hospitals charging them $100 for the hospital. Well, under that plan, you don't have a copay. Okay, so that's something that the hospital's doing that they've made a determination that that's how they're going to do business. But under that particular plan, for folks that have that plan has a zero hospital copay. So if a hospital's charging upfront money to go in on a plan that doesn't have a copay, or if they're charging more than your copay ought to be, that's just simply a business practice of that hospital, and it doesn't reflect on what your insurance coverage.
Well, is there anything you can actually do about it?
I would dispute it with whoever the billing department at the hospital is.
Okay.
Okay, under the terms, your plan has an agreement with the hospital. They've signed a contract that if you have that particular insurance company, that contract says that hospital would adhere to that plan's rules. You know, if it's got a zero hospital copay, that means that the insurance company is paying 100% of your bill. Then the hospital's making a determination to charge extra money in that case.
Okay.
And I would certainly ask the question, what's this for? Okay, I would certainly, anytime I got a bill, I would want to know what it was for. And in any case where you have, it doesn't look like it's, if your plan's got a certain number of dollar copay per day. Okay, if she was in there beyond that number of days, your plan, you go into 100% coverage. So that $1,000, I would want to know what is that $1,000 for?
Oh, okay.
Okay, and if she stayed there on your plan, I'm pretty familiar with that one. Yours has a set copay per day. Okay, beyond that, the whole hospital stays covered. So if they charged you $1,000 in addition to that, I'd find out what it was for.
Well, it actually ended up $1,500, and she actually stayed in the hospital. Well, she wasn't even overnight. We went in the morning.
Now you can always, on just about everybody's plan, on the back of their ID card, there's a customer service number. And since I don't ever have access to claims. Okay, that's not something an agent's going to have access to. But that customer service number on the back of your ID card, and you ask for somebody in claims, and they can tell you what's been billed and what hasn't, and they can help you understand. They're going to send out a document called an explanation of benefits. That tells you what the insurance paid and what's left over for you to pay, and they can explain every bit of that in as much detail as you need.
See, folks, I'm ignorant of this stuff. I just need to know. That's why Mark's here. I need to know, and he can get that same information out to you.
Yes, definitely. Those are the types of questions we can help with. That's something that's actually we get quite a few questions along the lines of, "Hey, they charged me such and such, but my plan's only supposed to be this." Okay, and a lot of times we can bring some understanding to that. At the very least, we can point you in the right direction to get to the right people to get an answer for you. And since we deal with all the major plans that people have, we usually at least have a good customer service number or have some experience with people who might have had similar questions. We can pass that along. Okay. So yeah, definitely, if we can help out, give us a call.
Okay, and I wanted to ask you about this. And this, folks, and give us a call if you've got any questions about insurance or whatever, and especially Obamacare or TennCare or any of these things, because we keep hearing all these things that they're going to do this, they're going to do that, and the Supreme Court, either I'm reading that wrong.
That Obamacare thing was almost 3,000 pages long,
right.
And the recommendation of the senators that were jamming that through were that let's pass it and we'll find out what it says later. I recall that famous statement made by the person from California there. Yeah. Now, here's what's happening is we're finding out what it said now, and that's 3 or 4 years ago. Right. There's always going to be, if you got a document that big, everybody's got a little piece of the pie invested in that, and everybody's got a perk and all these special interest groups. As far as this Notre Dame thing, we're always going to have controversies involving religious freedom and government, and unfortunately, when government took over health care for the majority of Americans, they're imposing their will. And that's what the Supreme Court does, is they try to help separate, if they're overstepping their bounds, or bring some clarity, or set some guidelines for things. The Obamacare thing affected a lot of people, but it doesn't have any immediate ramifications for people that have Medicare. And most people I get a lot of questions this last year, well, what about this Obamacare? People that are on Medicare are actually in a different category altogether.
They don't pertain at all.
It doesn't have any bearing right now. Now, it may in the future, but as of right now, your Medicare has not been affected by Obamacare. And as far as I can tell, rates haven't gone up, coverages haven't gone up, requirements haven't changed to participate. Those types of things haven't affected the seniors, that especially folks that have had Medicare. And as far as people that were already on TennCare, I haven't seen it affected anybody there. What it has potentially done, and they're having great difficulty with this from what I can understand, what it's particularly done is maybe make TennCare, which is the state's medical coverage, funded by the government, but it's processed through the state, it's potentially opened that up so that the requirements to meet that guideline to get health care are loosened up quite a bit.
And now what scared me to death about this Notre Dame deal, Hobby Lobby.
Right.
And how many companies would change, any small company could just change, and and if there's a requirement for 15 employees or or more, and they just change their name, and then we're right back in the same situation where I'm not particularly fond of the Obamacare, but I'm fond of everybody having some kind of insurance, because
I'll agree with you there, RL, but we just got to face facts. These big companies have money and they're interested in making money, and they're going to be trying to protect profits. And at the point where the government interferes with what their normal revenue stream is, okay, in other words, puts a requirement in there that all of a sudden their expenses of having employees are going to go up substantially, they've got a couple of choices. They can reduce expenses or they can raise prices.
okay.
And you were always going to see any business is always going to try to make ends meet or ensure that it's profitable to some degree, and how they actually go about doing that seems to be negative, but I think bottom line is they're just trying to survive like everybody else is.
Well, I don't know whether this is, I should ask this question or not, but I'm going to take Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
Walmart doesn't furnish insurance for most of its employees, okay? But they carry a life insurance policy on their employees, okay? And that usually that life insurance policy is, say, whatever their salary is.
Mm-hmm.
And if you die, that money goes to them. And they divide that up in bonuses for their executives. Now, my question is,
Mm-hmm.
I just want to, could my son actually have an insurance policy, a life insurance policy on me?
The rules for life insurance is that you have to prove a viable interest. As an example, I can take out a life insurance policy on my grandson. Well, he doesn't live with me, and I can be the beneficiary of that. Okay, as long as I can prove that there's a reasonable reason. There's a cause for me to take out that life insurance policy. People over time have said, well, as an example, somebody like Albert Einstein, okay, somebody that he was working for would say that intellectual property is worth X amount of dollars to me, and I would like to insure my income by taking a life insurance policy out on him if something happens to him and I don't recoup my money.
Okay, so that's the reason I asked that question,
Yeah.
because I don't know whether you guys sell life insurance or not.
We work quite a bit with life insurance, not in that realm, that scale, but we work more with like final expense type policies and things like that people need to kind of make sure that their family doesn't go through a hardship when something happens to them, and we're all going to face that at some
So
point.
that's how Walmart gets by, that they put a value on that.
That person is in some way that they're writing that policy, that person has some sort of an asset value that if that person dies, Walmart would potentially suffer some sort of a financial loss or some sort of a loss, and they would be indemnified against that loss through a life insurance policy. And so
I read that and I couldn't believe it. And then I talked about it on my show, and I had a couple of calls saying that's illegal. They can't do that.
Well, it would be very difficult for me to take a life insurance policy out on you that I was the benefactor of, is because we really can't prove a relationship where I would that would affect me. I mean, I would be deeply saddened for sure, but I'm not in a position of losing something financially or going through a hardship in the event of your passing. So it would be very difficult. I can't imagine a situation where I would be able to take out a policy on you and then have it pay me. Okay, but in a business relationship, a lot of times folks that own businesses will take, like two partners, they'll take life insurance policies out on each other with the benefactors to protect them, because let's say if this guy passes away, it's going to be a hardship on the remaining partner to run all the full business. So that's very common in partnerships for partners to have policies on each other to protect them against financial hardship should one of them pass away.
Okay, because that's another benefit of talking to this man. you know you can find, and they do sell life insurance.
We do, and we help a lot of folks out. You would be surprised how many folks are doing without life insurance. You know, Social Security will pay a whopping $225 to help with your burial costs, and that's all you get from the government. Medicare doesn't pay anything in addition to that. VA people, okay, the last fellow I talked with, they paid for his parents' headstone, but they didn't pay for the burial slot. Okay, so there's different levels of benefits with the VA, but a lot of times people don't realize it's somewhere around $4,000 or $5,000 just to get a basic funeral paid for.
Right.
Okay, that can be a hardship in several different ways. First of all, if the immediate family doesn't have the money, the first thing you know is they're going down taking out a loan to pay for mama's funeral. Okay, if mama didn't leave enough money behind in her estate, then somebody's got to pay for that. Okay, now if mama did leave money behind in her estate, but it goes to probate and it's 6 months before that money gets back to the kids that could pay for the funeral, guess what? Somebody's got to pay for that funeral. They're going to have to sign paper for it, or they're going to have to come up with that money, and then they may get it back when mama's estate clears out. But here's the thing, a life insurance policy pays almost immediately directly to the beneficiary. Most of these companies have got it down to 48 hours or so. So once there's a death notice, boom, the money comes, and then that way the family can take care of the bereavement, take care of their family with dignity and on time, and not give them that extra stress that comes with trying to figure out a financial matter in a time of loss.
Okay, we got to take a break, and we'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Stop by Heights Finance Corporation today and see Sandy List for all your financial needs. We're located in the Carl Pierce Furniture Building at 220 East Central Avenue in LaFollette, Tennessee. We offer loans from $500 to $100,000. Former bankruptcies are welcome, so give them a call. Call 563-6797. That's 563-6797. Or stop by their office 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Razor, Ranger, Sportsman, Ace. If you live for the outdoors, there's a Polaris to match your passion. Confident, comfortable, capable. That's Ace. With a solo cockpit, automotive controls, independent suspension, all-wheel drive, and up to 45 horses of fuel-injected power. Calling it revolutionary would be an understatement. Polaris, the world leader in off-road innovation.
Hi, I'm Cindy Christian with Linda Kilgore State Farm. I've been providing excellent customer service for State Farm customers for 4 years now. I'm licensed in auto, home, life, and health. Come in and see me for all your insurance needs.
Riggs Drugs has been a part of Campbell County for generation after generation, serving our friends and neighbors. And now we have redesigned our store to better serve you. It's the same knowledgeable and friendly staff, but a new look and new technology to ensure you get your prescriptions fast. We've always got you covered from prescriptions to all your home health needs. We've always been more than a pharmacy, still offering a huge selection of gifts and decor. Here at the new and improved Riggs Drugs.
Are you missing out on extra Medicare benefits that you may be entitled to? Hi, my name is Blake McCoy with Independent Insurance Consultants. If you have Medicare A and B and have Medicaid, TennCare, Q&B, or receive extra help on your prescription, drug premium, and copays, I want to make sure that you are receiving all the extra benefits that you are entitled to. Call me toll-free today. 1-866-691-5571 and let me help you.
Right now?
Yep, you're live.
Okay, we're back. And so anyway, I was asking a few personal questions, folks.
I just said make the check payable to Mark Backman, and we'd be all set on that. If I could real quick, we're getting a lot of calls from folks that are about to turn 65.
Right.
Okay, you remember when you turned 65, just the flood of mail that came. People, you make everybody's A list when you turn 65, and I don't know how they find out, but they don't spare any expense mailing a bunch of stuff out.
Oh, God.
And it can be confusing. Medicare is different than the employer's insurance you've had in the past. It operates differently, and you have a bunch of options, okay? Wading through that can be overwhelming because in some cases you have a one-shot deal at some of those things, and you don't have an opportunity to make some of those decisions. Again, other decisions that you make, depending on the type of plan you pick, you have an opportunity every year to change. So getting at the right spot, at least when you're first starting out, is very important. And please call us if you've got any questions about navigating into this new time of your life. Because when you're turning 65, it's a different deal on the insurance. It sure is.
Right. So anyway, you got any questions for Mark? Because he's promised me he'd stay here another 10 minutes and answer your questions if you got any. I know that a lot of you they've signed up with you, a bunch of you have signed up.
We've got a lot of folks here in Campbell County that have called, and we've helped them find and identify the right plan. You want to work with somebody that's familiar with the doctor networks. We got a lot of doctors right here. They're almost across the street from each other, and they take completely different plans. And a lot, so working with somebody that understands the networks on these plans, that is familiar with the doctors up here in the hospitals, can really make picking a plan a lot easier.
Well, yeah, now, and I'm learning that. But here's, I don't know why I hadn't asked this question before. How do I know which doctor takes which insurance?
That's a great question. Now, it's fairly straightforward if you've been seeing the same doctor for a while, okay?
Well, now, I've had an experience with 2 doctors
Right.
that where we went to the doctor and been going to them for a long time, or my wife has,
Right.
for a long time, and both of them, we went for appointments and hand them our card, and they say, nope, we don't take that anymore.
Well, here's what happens.
Can I hold them responsible, make them pay for my gas money?
Well, and now this is going to get into how I would do business as a professional. If you were a client of mine, okay, and I knew that I was no longer going to take a particular brand of something, and I wanted to keep you as a client, I would give you the courtesy of informing you of that ahead of time.
All right.
Okay? Now, an insurance company, especially on these Medicare Advantage plans, an insurance company recruits these doctors, and they're generally supposed to be on board for the whole duration of a contract, which is usually a year. And it coincides with the time that people can jump off of plans or switch plans, okay? So a lot of times a doctor, and there's some doctors groups in Knoxville do this, they'll send out a letter in August and September letting their patients know which plans they're going to be taking for the following year. That gives those patients an opportunity to move during the open enrollment period, okay? Now, for some reason, some doctors don't get a chance to get that organized, or I'm not sure why, but doctors will occasionally decide that they don't want to take a plan anymore. Maybe they got too many patients that have that plan. They want to balance the load out so they're not dealing with one insurance company too much. Any number of business reasons, because between you and I, doctors are businessmen.
No question.
Okay, they're in the business of making money, or they wouldn't be doing it. Okay, that doesn't mean they're bad doctors. That just means they're in the business of making money, or they can't stay there. So they may have a business reason for taking one plan 1 year and not taking it the next. All reimbursement rates and contracts and all that stuff. But it's my opinion, and I don't give an opinion very often, but if I've got a valued patient, I would want them to be aware of what changes I was making to my practice so that they would have an opportunity to keep seeing me under their whatever insurance they had. So the insurance companies rarely, they do sometimes, but they rarely drop doctors. Okay?
Well,
so it's not just a matter of you sign up for a plan, now all of a sudden the insurance company tells you can't see that doctor. It's the doctor's choice what he's going to take in that situation.
Well, now here, here's what bothered me. I can't have two plans at the same
No,
time.
you cannot have two plans at the same time.
And so there's the doctor that I really want to go to takes my plan.
Right.
But over here, someone that I went to for years, they don't have it anymore. So I've got to go hunt and see who will take care of me.
Well, the good news is if you find a doctor that takes a certain plan, most likely he's going to refer you to other doctors. See, your primary care doctor is kind of your quarterback. He's familiar with your case, not only your health history, but he should be familiar with what insurance you have. Let's say he wants to send you out to a cardiologist for an evaluation. He should know that he's got cardiologists that are in the same insurance network so that when he refers you there, you don't have an issue using your insurance. That's the way it's supposed to work in a perfect world. But let's face it, we all know that sometimes we got long list waiting times. There could be any number of reasons where that wasn't what your doctor could refer you to. That is, that's always going to be a question to go back and ask him.
I know I missed a call there.
Uh-oh, who'd we miss?
I don't know.
Whoever you were, we missed you. Call us back. Sorry about that.
I sent it blank off. So anyway, that's what the things that I think the most of the calls that I get
Right.
is saying, Ariel, I went down to the doctor today and they don't take what was recommended to me or whatever, or whatever I chose. But whenever did your family doctor take your, but this doctor don't. So anyway, I'm going to just give you an example, just with myself. The VA called me the other day and said they told me to come in and get labs. So I went in and when they got the labs back and they read the labs, well, I went over and got at the VA and got my labs report. And a couple of weeks later, somebody from VA called me and said, you've got to go and do this and do that and do this. And I said, well, I'd rather go to my family doctor for my diabetes, and that's fine. So I go to my family doctor, and he reads the thing, and they're saying that you got to change your medicine. And when the doctor looked at me, and he said, you can go. And I said, you're not going to do anything? He said, nope. Nothing? Nope. He said, now, he read the labs, and which they'd already called me and told me that PSAs, what's that?
Right. That's that's a level for your prostate.
Okay.
PSA is a level that they measure of.
But he's the person from the VA said your PSAs are double of what they should be. At your age, you should only be 6, but you're 11.7. So you've got to go to the doctor. And I said, who do I go to?
Mm-hmm.
So they told me a name. Now, if I go there and no insurance,
well, my experience with folks that have VA insurance is if the VA sends you, VA has got some sort of financial obligation to help out with that. Now, if they send you to a specific doctor and they order a specific test, you need to check with the VA on that.
I'm not rich, but I don't worry about paying for my because I know that's
right.
That's important.
But now a lot of folks are in that spot where they've got VA and they may have another plan for local stuff just for the backup to the VA. Typically, I would make sure that if you're going to go on an appointment like that, you know who's responsible for it. Is the VA going to pay for this follow-up visit? Let's say they send you over to UT Hospital. Who's going to pay for that? Okay, that should be clear before you go to the appointment. Once you go to the appointment, you're responsible for it, whether the insurance company pays or not. That's the thing that people got to realize. If you go to the appointment, you are financially responsible for it, and if the insurance company doesn't pay, they are going to bill you. Okay, so at some point or another, it's the patient's responsibility. Even if they have insurance, they got to make sure that insurance company pays. Okay, so the insurance company
So
should pay.
I better call them and tell them what I've got.
I would, if you know, and if you're being sent over there from, you know, somebody at the VA says, hey, we want you to go to this specific doctor and have this specific test, who's paying for that?
So that doctor is a Dr. Kim from UT, and he comes down here to the UT clinic.
Typically, UT doctors don't take the plan you're on.
So I better do some.
I would certainly do a little bit of research on that, or just go in there knowing, hey, I might just have to write a check. Okay, but I would suspect that if the VA is not paying for that, then you probably have other options for specialists that you can see that are inside your network.
Okay.
And so I would get a referral to one of those.
That's one of the things that's the most phone calls that I get is people asking me, now, what doctor I don't know what doctor you go.
When you're working with an insurance agent like our company, okay, we will do our best when we're sitting down and initially consulting with you to determine who all your current doctors are, okay, and then determine which plans those current doctors will take. Okay, I invariably sit down with somebody that's got 4 or 5 doctors, and they'll have forgotten the doctor to tell me about. Okay, and sometimes that's a hiccup. Sometimes that'll be the one doctor that doesn't take the plan they're on. Now they haven't seen that doctor in 3 years, but all of a sudden they got to go see him, and he doesn't take the plan that they picked. Okay?
That's a big.
That happens. That can happen. It doesn't mean that the insurance agent was wrong, and it doesn't mean anybody's wrong. It's just okay. Or a situation where, hey, I got this when I turned 65. I never went to a doctor a day in my life. Now all of a sudden I got diabetes and a heart condition, and I got 6 doctors I go to. Okay. What do I do? And my doctor says this guy is the best over here, and he doesn't take my plan, but all of my other doctors do. Those are kind of tough situations. An insurance agent can get you to the right person inside of your plan that can help you with referrals to make sure that you're seeing doctors that are in your network. If you've got to replace a doctor, they can help you do that. Okay, but bottom line is whoever you're working with on the front side before you sign that paper, get signed up for it, make sure that they are looking all of your doctors up. Make sure that you have a list of all your doctors and you didn't forget one. But the due diligence, that resides on the part of the agent to help you figure out who are you seeing and what does that doctor take, and now let's narrow down our options to what can I make work for me in this particular situation. Everybody is unique. Everybody has a different doctor list. Everybody sees somebody over at UT or Summit. Or
Well, what kind of
right down
doctor what would you call the doctor that's most likely to, a Dr. Kim that's be seeing me 2 weeks from?
And it's for your diabetes?
No, it's for PSA or whatever that is.
I'm not sure if that would, I don't know if that would be a urologist or I think it'd probably be a urologist, to be honest.
I have no idea. I don't know what one doctor is.
If you'll turn your card over on the back side, okay, and there's a customer service number there, RL. That customer service number is very valuable. It's not just for problems, but you can go in there and say, look, here's what's going on. My doctor has recommended that I see this doctor for this specific thing, okay? And that doctor's not in our network. I need you to help me find doctors that can do this for me that are in this network. And you know, they can do that right there.
Told me exactly who to call and make an appointment with.
Right. Well, you know, if the VA wants you to see that doctor,
and there's no way that VA knows what my insurance.
So I would suspect that the VA ought to be footing the bill for that visit.
Okay.
If they're the one requiring that thing happen, I would check with them, see if they'll pay for it.
Well, did
we go through our time already?
Oh yeah, we done passed it up.
Oh my God.
Flying.
Well, time flies up here in Campbell County. You know, I wish you guys had called in a little bit. Me and RL had to do all the talking tonight.
Yeah, that's just no calls. But that's fine. We've not stopped.
We have not stopped. We've not given them a break to call in anyway.
They're listening.
That's good. That's good.
But now you've not given out your number.
Well, I think I'd better do that.
557.
Yep, if you're getting ready to turn 65 and you got a big stack of mail and you want somebody to help you go through it and figure out what's what, 866 866-691-5571. If you got questions about life insurance and whether it's a good idea for you and whether it's affordable or not, 866-691-5571. And as always, if you got a red, white, and blue Medicare card and you got some insurance company like either Blue Cross or United Healthcare or Amerigroup for your TennCare coverage, please call. So many people here in Campbell County are eligible for extra benefits that don't cost them anything additional, and they're doing without, and we want to get that information out to you.
Oh, here, we got a call.
All right. Thank you for calling.
You're on the air.
Well, that's a PSA. Well, that PSA is a urologist. And that PSA, I have prostate cancer. And I have to go every 6 months and have a PSA. And if that PSA goes up, that means that prostate cancer is advancing. So you really have to watch that PSA. And the A1C on the diabetes, that will kill you in a heartbeat. You got to keep that A1C at 6.7, no higher. But the PSA, I know I go to the urologist in Oak Ridge, and they're the one that found the prostate cancer. And he says that they will not take the prostate cancer out. The prostate out. Because without a doubt, that would cause more trouble. But every 6 months, I have to go for a PSA, which is a blood test. And if it is wrong, then I've got big trouble. So that's a urologist, that's a kidney doctor. And A1C is your diabetes doctor. So please, you need to watch both of them. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you calling. Thank you.
All right.
Well, see, when it comes to medical stuff, I don't know nothing, and can't tell you what PSA means no more than a man in the moon. Only thing that I know is I have a head cold, or if my stomach's hurting.
Well, one of my favorite things to say is I have not studied medicine, and I don't have a license in the state of Tennessee to practice medicine, so I'm not going to give out any medical advice, okay? And folks that don't have an insurance license in the state of Tennessee probably shouldn't be giving insurance information or advice out either. So I'll do my thing, let them do that thing, and if your doctor's warning you to keep an eye on something, by golly, I'd keep an eye on it. I sure
they've warned me.
That ain't the first time you've been warned, is
No,
it?
Lord. If this by luck or by the grace of the old man above, I should have been dead 15 years ago.
I think it's just that ornery that's been protecting you. I think so. Folks, my number is 866-691-5571. Please don't hesitate to call at any time about any insurance related. Even if I don't do that type of insurance, chances are I probably know somebody who does. I can get you somebody.
Or you probably could give them a halfway decent answer anyway.
I try to give a halfway decent answer, but if I don't know, I'll just tell you I don't know.
Yeah.
And then we'll try to get on to somebody who does. So we'll try to help any way we can, folks.
Well, Ben, we only got 8 minutes. If you don't care, just sit around here. We'll just...
Yeah, light up that phone. We don't want to hear we've run out of stuff to talk about here. We need some help.
Right. Just got any question whatsoever, we'll just go ahead and try to get that answered for you but I do have some interesting issues tonight. You're on the air.
Yes, I need to ask Mark a question about, I go to a gastrologist.
Yes, ma'am.
And they are saying that they take my insurance, but they can't see me unless my doctor, primary care doctor, refers me.
We've seen that happen more. Just about all the plans are going to a referral for the specialist anymore. That can be as simple as just a phone call to your primary care doctor. There's a couple reasons for that, because a lot of times if these doctors aren't talking to each other, they can actually prescribe medications that either counteract each other, or it could be a bad combination and actually make you sicker. So the insurance companies have realized that if one doctor doesn't know what the other one's doing, trouble can happen. So the only way they can control that is to actually have everything filter through the primary care doctor. He's kind of like the quarterback, and they want him in on the loop. So that's the only reason they kind of make you jump through that hoop, is they want to make sure that your primary care doctor is aware that you've got something that you need to see a gastroenterologist for. And it's not to keep you from going, it's just to protect you against maybe having a couple different doctors that don't have the whole pieces of all the puzzles going together.
Well, I can tell you for an example, Mal, my heart doctor in Knoxville is Dr. Martin. So anyway, my primary care doctor sent me to the heart specialist. Whenever I get there, he looks at me and he said, did you bring your medical records? I said, no. He said, well, I can't prescribe you anything until I see your medical records, because I don't know how your doctor is doctoring you.
Right.
And so he would not he wouldn't prescribe anything to me until, and so I sat around, they actually faxed my records to him.
Right.
And he changed my medicine that day.
Right. Well, this gastrologist that I've been going to him for about 30-some years.
That must be Dr. Mills at Knoxville.
Yeah. And him and my primary doctor, they sort of work together.
Okay, good.
And right now, I've got a problem, and he's got me on some medication that's like $1,300 per month.
Ooh, my goodness.
And there's no way that I can pay for that. But the insurance company now don't want to pay for it. So that's the reason I'm having to go back to him to find out if he can put me on something else, or either argue with the insurance company.
A lot of times, if you'll just call your primary care, they just have to just notify the insurance company that you're going to the specialist. I know it's a bit of a hassle, but you're going to see that more and more with all the plans. Even the Obamacare plans are going to have to go that route sooner or later. And the problem is that some people will have doctors that don't talk to each other, and there have been some people that have really suffered because the medications didn't work because they counteracted each other, or they were over-medicated. I talked to someone the other day that both doctors that they were seeing were prescribing a blood thinner. Okay, and so they were taking both the blood thinners, and one doctor didn't know the other one was prescribing it, and the other way around, and they were taking twice the amount they were supposed to be taking because the doctors hadn't spoken to each other.
Right.
Man.
Well, I guess I'm just lucky because both the gastrologist and the primary care doctor is both taking my insurance.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. If you'll just call your primary care, tell them what's going on, you need a referral to see that doctor to get the medicine thing.
They've been took care of it.
Oh, okay, good.
Well, I'm going to show you something other. I don't know if you can see this or not. I know I can't because we don't have a monitor in here. That trip that I was telling you about that I went to the doctor, I wrote down everything I do, and I put it in my billfold, and whenever I go in and they hand me them papers.
Wow. Yep, that's what you want to do. Sometimes they want you to actually bring your medicine bottles with you. Have you ever had them tell you that? Bring all your medicine with you. That way they can read it off the labels. I can't even pronounce some of that stuff. I don't know what language that is.
I can't either.
Egyptian or something. I don't know.
But anyway, we got time for one more call. Give us a call. Anybody got any question before we take a break? Thanks, ma'am.
Thank you.
Anybody got a question? Just got time for one more, and then we'll let Mark get back home and see. I really He helps me a lot.
Well, you might need it too. Oh goodness. Well, you know, sometimes people don't want to be, you know, talking on the air because sometimes health questions and things that like get a little bit personal. You know, we don't say anybody's name on here or anything. But if you want to call the office at any point in time, the number is 866-691-5571, and you can either ask for Mark or. If you get it to me, I'll get you to the right person there if it's not something I handle. I don't do the life insurance so much. We got a great guy that's his name's Alex. But if you ask for me, I'll get you through to Alex on the life insurance, and we'll certainly try to get you some information. Even if we don't know the answer, we probably know who does.
Right, I guarantee you that. Well, Honeybee, you in there?
Yes, honey.
Let's go ahead and take a break.
Stop by Heights Finance Corporation today and see Sandy List for all your financial needs. We're located in the Carl Pierce Furniture Building at 220 East Central Avenue in LaFollette, Tennessee. We offer loans from $500 to $100,000. Former bankruptcies are welcome, so give them a call. Call 563-6797. That's 563-6797. Or stop by their office 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Mule Pro FXT can't handle. The 2015 Mule Pro FXT. The Mule Pro FXT is engineered to smooth out the most rugged terrain. Over 8.5 inches of suspension travel make uneven surfaces feel a lot less jarring, while a tight 16-foot turning radius combined with electric power steering means easy and effortless cornering on a dime. Engine braking is tuned for a controlled feel when heading downhill, and high output LED headlights light up the way. Round out this exceptional package with the maximum stopping power of front and rear disc brakes, and there's almost nothing the Mule Pro FXT can't handle. The 2015 Mule Pro FXT.
Hi, I'm Linda Kilgore. This is my 35th year with State Farm, my 25th year here in Campbell County. I'm not a high-pressure salesman. I like to just sit down with my customers and help them decide what's right for them. Thank you, and I hope to see you soon.
Riggs Drugs has been a part of Campbell County for generation after generation, serving our friends and neighbors. And now we have redesigned our store to better serve you. It's the same knowledgeable and friendly staff, but a new look and new technology to ensure you get your prescriptions fast. We've always got you covered from prescriptions to all your home health needs. We've always been more than a pharmacy, still offering a huge selection of gifts and decor here at the new and improved Riggs Drugs.
Are you missing out on extra Medicare benefits that you may be entitled to? Hi, my name is Blake McCoy with Independent Insurance Consultants. If you have Medicare A and B and have Medicaid, TennCare, Q&B, or receive extra help on your prescription, drug premium, and copays, I want to make sure that you are receiving all the extra benefits that you are entitled to. Call me toll-free today. 1-866-691-5571 and let me help you.
Okay, and we're back, and thanks for watching this for that almost an hour. But I have a lot of questions, and I think that, and I hope that you all are catching on, because we're having so many things that's just not right as far as. Because when it comes to medical things, I'm as dumb as a rock. I do, because I just don't like going to the doctor. I don't like taking medicine, and I forget it. I never take it on time, but I should. And I know it would help me a great deal if I would get used to doing it. But a lot of times my wife has to say, "Have you taken your medicine?" Let me go look at my little old pill box, And if Monday's gone, and then I've taken it. If it's not gone, then I haven't taken it. So that's how I am with medicine, and I need to get better with that, and I'm going to have to try. But because boys, I tell you the truth, I don't want to go through what I went through a couple of months ago. But now what I wanted to talk about, one of the Netanyahu. You're on the air.
Ariel, did you read in the Christian Journal where that man that had raped that kid and sexually battered it, they only gave him 2 years probation?
And is that the one that's in Alabama now? Is that the one you're talking about?
I don't know. I can't remember where it's at. I was thinking it was in Campbell County, though.
Well, he was here in Campbell County, but I think that what they did is they put him on probation. In fact, hold on just a minute. I just chucked that paper just a minute ago. Let me just.
Okay.
Okay, let me look here. I believe it's on page 13. Okay, man pleads guilty in sexual abuse. Entered a guilty plea, attempted aggravated sexual battery in exchange for 6 years probation. And he has, with a 13-year-old child, it didn't say boy or girl, it says child, and the sentence is on supervised probation. He is also ordered to pay the court costs associated with the case. Gann will be subject to sexual offender register. Mr. Isaac stated that Gann now was residing in Alabama and that the proper paperwork would have to be processed for his probation in his home state. So basically he had
So is it subject to change?
No, it's not subject to change. He's got 6 years probation in the state of Alabama. That's where his home is at.
Oh, I thought it was 2 years.
And supervised probation.
But you know, that's not a good sentence for what he's done.
Well, heck no, it's not.
And I think they should have done more than that.
Well, I'm going to tell you. There's two things that you can in Scott County and sexual assault or rape or whatever that you can get by with better and doing that and get less sentence than you would if you stole somebody's horse or somebody's dog.
Oh my Lord!
That used to be just an old saying. Hey, don't if you're going to do somebody harm, you're better off in Scott County to kill them than you are to do other harm or something other ways, because I know of a couple of cases where people have killed people and never go to the penitentiary, and I mean, how can it be self-defense if you kill somebody when they're asleep?
Yeah. Buddy, I tell you, some laws or something needs to change around here.
But anyway, that's what that person got. He is from Alabama. He had moved whenever he got caught and was sentenced here. He went back home. So his that Isaac, you know, that's that big time lawyer out of Knoxville. Evidently, he knows how to get things done, and this guy's back home, and I'll bet you $1 to a donut he's not being supervised.
That's a shame, you know it.
Yep.
Well, thank you for taking my call.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Okay, Now, I've got two things in Ann Hester's column or this week that, well, let me get this. When you're on the air,
Yes, Isaac needs to stay in Knoxville because he's done got 2 murders off in Campbell County, and now he's messing with everything else. That's my opinion.
okay, appreciate your call. Yeah, the people that know the laws the best is the one that gets the most, I guess, verdicts in their favor. But like I say, there's a couple of things, and I love this. Calls just keep coming in. You're on the air.
Yeah, Oriel, I just wanted to add to something before you moved on to Ann Hester. I don't know if you heard Channel 12 News tonight, but there was a man from Lake City, which currently now is Rocky Top, that had raped a 7-year-old girl. And it was on the news this evening, and they had arrested him somewhere here in Campbell County.
What was his name?
Well, I'm not for sure. They said it's so quick, you might ought to ask them. They'd be able to tell you. But my subject matter is, Ariel, this is baloney. Probation on someone who would violate that. You know, that child don't have probation. That child's got a life sentence. And until we're ready to look at that and stop giving people more time for stealing something, or give somebody more time that's got a drug problem, they ought to look back on their society's problems. I mean, my God, you hear about these people, like when that first happened with Van, you have somebody calling in, oh, I know his family, he's a good man. Well, baloney. You know, that man sitting that did that little 7-year-old girl, he's sitting right across the street from me in jail. Well, his butt goes to jail. It's the taxpayers paying for him. He's got more rights than that child ever had and will ever have, and I've had enough. You know, and I'm a big advocate for children and stuff, and I think there ought to be more people like myself that's willing to fight and do something to change these laws instead of sitting around. We can have it in the paper, we can have it, you know, talk about it, but this is going to have to stop. I mean, hell, it was just a couple of months back, I seen a child molester walking across the street with a little girl a block down from the courthouse.
Yep.
You know, and I'm over it. But you know what? If you do something like that in Russia and you get found guilty, they just take you out in the next room and blow your brains out.
Well, I wouldn't want us to get that ballpark, but I wish we would get more involved in these kind of things and make sure that they do carry out some sentences right, okay?
Well, I agree with you. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. You're on the air. You're on the air.
Hey, big guy.
Hey, what's up?
What these people need to do is be aware of the fact that our criminal judge's name is Sexton. That's what you get when you elect the Sexton to anybody. Now, I know some really good Sextons from Scott County, and I think he moved to Nashville.
I know a couple. I know quite a few good sextons, buddy.
Drew played keyboard for us when we had a little rock and roll band over there in the late '60s.
Who?
Drew.
Drew Sexton?
Yeah.
You know Drew went to Nashville, didn't he?
Yeah, he was our keyboardist.
Oh, man.
Boy, he was good, too. He was about 14, 15.
Well, he's still playing music in Nashville.
His daddy was an attorney. Well, he got a job playing keyboard for Tom T. Hall.
Yeah.
He played for Tom T. Hall for, what, 25 years?
A long time. Yeah.
Yeah, that's how good he was. But he's the only sexton that I knew that was worth having around.
Okay.
His daddy was a pretty good old guy, too. He was an attorney. And I think his brother was an attorney over there for a while, and I think he ran against our current criminal judge. So we had 2 sextons in that race when I think we picked the wrong sexton.
You're talking about Charlie?
Yeah, one from Scott County.
Yeah.
That was,
well, now, you'd have to be careful using that sexton that way in front of my brother, because his wife is a sexton. and he's 68, 69 years old, and he's still madly in love with her.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, this section we got on the criminal court, if he's a criminal judge, the woods are full of them.
Well, I definitely don't agree with
47 days for premeditated, cold-blooded murder. You know, I mean, it's unreal what the guy does.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's our problem, is the judge we got. And sadly, nobody run against him.
Yep. I know what you're saying.
Okay, buddy. Great show. Glad to have you over here.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. But as I started to say, Aunt Hester, in her column this week, I like to pick on her. Because there's a couple of things that I'll tell you that I agree and disagree. And one of them this week, I just totally disagree with her. Netanyahu, he gave the speech, but Netanyahu gave that same speech, just a little tone different, in 1998. That same speech that Iran was going to blow them off the earth within a year or so if they didn't do something. And that's been 17 years ago. And he comes back and gives that same speech. And I might be wrong. I could be wrong, but I don't think if you gave Iran 200 nuclear weapons that they would hit Israel with a nuclear weapon. Because what would happen, every nation that's against that would rain down on Iran, and there wouldn't be no Iran. There might not be even a world anymore. And they don't want to kill their own people, every one of them, because that's what would happen. You're on the air.
Hey, I hate to bug you, but boy, are you right about this. In 2002, Netanyahu was over here talking to America about what a threat Saddam Hussein was to our safety and what a threat he was to Israel, and that we needed to help do something about it. And since then, what, 5,000 good American boys have died in Iraq because of the speech he gave about Saddam Hussein.
Yes, sir.
And I remember him promising that if we take down Saddam Hussein, the Middle East will be peaceful, it'll be stabilized, and we won't have another problem. I think it's been worse.
It has. He forced George Bush into, and he fell for it, and away we went.
And that's what I'm saying. People need to beware of people who bring dire warnings to our shores, and I just hate to see us getting another war over there where thousands of good young Americans die.
Well, just think if we'd elected McCain. And McCain's out there blowing that whistle again.
Now, if we'd elected McCain, we would have gotten rid of him somehow real early. We'd have had Sarah Palin for President of the United States, who would have been our Margaret Thatcher.
Okay. Now, Ben, you're on the phone. Let me just say the one that I agree with her. She mentioned the guns, and I had never looked at it exactly this way. I looked at it in Crossfire and more people getting killed, but she said, wait a minute. If this person's got a gun out there and they're going to kill you, and you've got a gun and you're going to kill them back, actually the murder rate would go up because you get crossfires and you're going to have more people actually in the long run get killed if everybody's carrying a gun. Because in today's world, as radical as these people are...
Who wrote that?
Aunt Hester.
That if everybody carries a gun, more people are going to die?
Yeah.
Boy, is she wrong there.
Oh, I agree with her, though.
Everywhere now there's a bill, I think on the governor's desk, that we don't even have to buy a permit anymore to carry a concealed weapon. And That's the way it ought to be to start with.
And nothing that happens anymore surprises me.
But all studies have shown that these carry permits, the reason they're so popular is they immediately bring crime down. And if you take...
that's not what she's saying. She's saying it'll bring more deaths, or at least as many. As far as murders are not going to go down.
Oh, the statistics prove they go down considerably. The only place they stay high is where they have the strictest gun laws. Detroit, Chicago, New York, Washington, Watts, Atlanta, places where they have the strictest gun laws. But you go to Houston where they have no gun laws at all, you don't have a murder rate. Their murder rate's as low as Switzerland. So, hey, she's dead wrong there, baby.
Okay, but anyway, I usually pick out one or two things.
Call in defenders.
I usually pick out one or two things that where I'll disagree with her, or every once in a while I'll pick up something that I agree with her.
Hey, fortunately for Aunt Hester, I'm out of here.
Okay, see ya. You're on the air.
RL, that's not what I said. RL?
Yeah, I'm hearing you.
That's not what I said. What I said was, if you'll read it, that there have been more deaths by gun in America since a certain year than there were in both the wars.
Right.
And I said that people would say that if I was carrying a gun, that there wouldn't be as many deaths. But if you're going to kill your assailant, the numbers don't go down.
Ain't that what I just said?
No, that's not what you said.
Well,
because I don't think that if everybody carries a gun, and you shoot that, no, it's just that there are people who say, well, if I had a gun to defend myself, I wouldn't die. No, you would have killed your assailant, and the statistics
would stay the same. That's basically what I'm saying.
No, that's not what you were saying. But and not that I'm defending them, because I'm not. But you did not finish your story on Walmart. Walmart stopped participating in that plan in 1995. In 2000, they canceled all the policies they had on their employees. And the only place that it's legal anymore to take out a policy on your employees, there's 4 or 5 states that you don't have to notify. But today, even today, 1/4 of the Fortune 500 companies, and that's with 5 to 6 million employees, and that's Procter & Gamble and AT&T. So if you're going to, if you're going to say that about a company, then you got to follow up and see what they've done to change it. So they're no longer carrying those policies. And if you get into it, you'll find out why they did. And it was just a business thing.
What it does,
they haven't been doing it since 2000.
Huh?
They haven't been doing that since the year 2000.
Yeah. I know one thing.
Years ago.
Did you know how much that in Bentonville, Arkansas, per square mile, per capita, in a little bitty town just outside of Fayetteville, Arkansas, about 30 miles out of Fayetteville, it's Bentonville, Arkansas. They have more millionaires than any other place in the world.
RL, what do you want? You want everybody to make the same amount of money in the United States?
No.
Then
what I don't want or don't like, I don't like that McDonald's, Walmart, or you name it, because it's just the good Lord, but your hourly wage is $7.25 an hour since 2009.
I understand.
And
same way it is with a lot of companies.
Well, that's right. But here's my problem with this, and it is mainly a Republican problem with me, is because in 2009 I could buy a McDonald's hamburger for under $2. Now I can't get one for under, less than it's a little double cheese with a thin piece of meat on it that you can see through. for less than $3.
Have you been to Kentucky Fried Chicken lately?
It's gone up.
Absolutely.
Everything is going up. And
everybody got a raise. Everybody got a raise here in La Follette, and what happened? The prices went up.
No, but what I'm saying to you, you don't have to increase your profit margin by 33% and keep these people's wages at the same level as they've been for 6 years. But
that's just not those companies.
I know that.
Okay, what are you going to do? All right, let's get rid of Walmart. What are you going to do with the 500,000 people they employ?
Now, Walmart employs 1.6 million people.
I know, but just basically, they're managers and their associates. That's 500,000. That doesn't mean all of them. What are you going to do with those 500,000 people?
I understand that. I do understand what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm saying to you, if they increase their products and their profit margins to a certain level, whenever they're going up, and not taking their employees up, and they even work them 35 hours or less than 35 hours or 30 hours, so they don't have to give them insurance stuff. Now, and I wanted to show you something. I don't know where you can see it or not, but the right to work law, anti-union law, is soon to be in books in Wisconsin. Now the North has. Now I have a different view of the union than I did whenever I was a young man, because they really did. They worked people to death. They didn't. Right. And they didn't care one way or another, and they it was just like slave labor. But
you're right. But what destroyed the major unions in the United States? What destroyed them?
What destroyed them actually was Ronald Reagan.
Forget.
Well, what I'm saying, Ronald Reagan.
Companies themselves began to realize, how do I get rid of the unions? How do I get them off my back? They then started putting in these programs, and it made it just like if you're in a right to work state and it's unionized, you shouldn't have to pay union dues if you don't want to be in the union.
Oh, I know. I was
what destroyed the unions is because. And besides, the government did a lot to destroy the unions. The government said, "Oh, well, you can't get away with this now, Company A."
Well, it actually got started when Ronald Reagan busted the airline controllers.
Well, because they weren't going to work, and he kept the. If you're going to get on these companies and not have a solution as to profit, what about the federal government?
You tell me how someone like me can. I can't change the things, but we sit around. If we don't talk about it, or if we don't challenge it, somebody needs to
talk about it, and I think we all. But when you're going to come up with something like that, what is your solution?
What is my solution?
If you gave everybody in the United States $1 million, how long do you think it would be to those people who are filing bankruptcy and need to borrow?
I totally understand that. I'm not no dummy, but I'll tell you this. If I increased McDonald's wages at the same level that they've increased their margin, then why not give McDonald's employees $10 an hour after a certain period of time?
They do. There's some areas they
the
$10 an hour for a long time.
The Republican Party will not allow to change the minimum wage law.
Well, but some companies go ahead and do it on their own, you know.
Yeah, the companies are doing it. Some of them are doing it on their own.
But how much did you pay for a gallon of milk 6 years ago? How much are you paying for a gallon of milk now?
Well, it's according to what kind I'm buying. I can get.
I own a restaurant.
I can get.
I own a restaurant. And the lettuce goes up, and the milk goes up, and the tomatoes go up, and everything that goes, and beef. Do you realize beef, what the percentage?
But what I'm saying,
increased?
But what,
so
that's
what
right,
it's increased.
That's just exactly what I'm saying. And when all that increases, and you don't get anything to deal with that just pushes you down farther. We're not trying to help these people that's down here farther. We're trying to push them down in the ground. We're trying to kill them, starve them to death, or cause them to have to get out here and steal.
Is that what you think?
I know.
Well, then you need to go back and you need to read your history.
because that's not what causes it, RL. You could give every man, woman, and child in America $1 million tomorrow.
That's not what
I'm telling you. In 6 months, wait a minute. I'm telling you, in 6 months, it's like everybody got a raise. They're going to spend $15. Now they've got 10.
What makes
you want to get on something.
What makes the world go round? That's what makes the world go round. But what I'm
okay, all right.
But now you tell me.
Wait a minute. Wait. Let's start with the people who are really making the money in this world. How many people are employed by the federal government one way or another? How many people do you?
It's the largest employer in America.
But can you think of a number of how many people, one way or the other, are employed by by contract, private contractors, military, people how many people do you think in America are employed by the federal government?
I'm telling you, it's a large, and I don't think you know or I don't know either.
I do know it. 1 in every 6 workers in America. 40 million people, one way or another, are employed by the federal government.
But they may not be employed directly by the government.
Wait a minute. They're receiving their money from money,
yes,
federal government. Contract.
I'll agree with that, but they are not on the United States government payroll. John Doe is on the United States, but the United States, the payroll belongs to R.L. Gibson, and he employs 100 people, and that money is distributed around to 100 people.
Right.
And so, no.
How much are senators, congressmen, secretaries, all those people working for the IRS that owe over $1 billion in back taxes, still working and not being collected? How much are government workers getting paid as in proportion to what everybody else is making in America?
Well, it's the same way with the state.
It's no minimum wage.
I understand that.
So if you're,
but what I'm saying, listen, I'm going to have to run. But
the perpetuator.
What I'm saying to you and the people out there, if the people that made $7.25 an hour 6 years ago, and they could live better on that $6.50 than I can today at $10.
And why?
That's how much is stuff. That's a good question, because the top is wanting to take all the money.
And who's at the top, RL, in the working class people? Who is at the top of the working class people? Not your Fortune 500. I'm talking upper to middle class people. Who's at the top of that, RL? Your federal government workers. Your government workers. And everything, when a government worker down here makes $25 an hour, you think the stores are not going to charge more money?
Well, now, in Alcoa, I would agree with that. But here in Campbell County, no, because you don't have that kind of...
oh, really? You don't think so?
Your biggest... now, see, if you count the teachers, that's your biggest industry in Campbell County.
It's government, yeah.
And so, anyway, I got to run.
Bye.
Bye-bye. I'll be back after these words from our sponsors.
Stop by Heights Finance Corporation today and see Sandy List for all your financial needs. We're located in the Carl Pierce Furniture Building at 220 East Central Avenue in Eufaula, Tennessee. We offer loans from $500 to $100,000. Former bankruptcies are welcome, so give them a call. Call 563-6797. That's 563-6797. Or stop by their office 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Razor, Ranger, Sportsman, Ace. If you live for the outdoors, there's a Polaris to match your passion. Confident, comfortable, capable. That's Ace. With a solo cockpit, automotive controls, independent suspension, all-wheel drive, and up to 45 horses of fuel-injected power. Calling it revolutionary would be an understatement. Polaris, the world leader in off-road innovation.
Hi, my name is Jeremy Pierce. I may not be Jake from State Farm, but I do wear khakis. I've been here with Linda Kilgore's office for 2 years. I enjoy helping people make a decision regarding their insurance based on their needs and wants. I'm fully licensed. I enjoy selling auto, home, and life insurance. So feel free to come in or call in anytime, and I'll be glad to help you.
Riggs Drugs has been a part of Campbell County for generation after generation, serving our friends and neighbors. And now we have redesigned our store to better serve you. It's the same knowledgeable and friendly staff, but a new look and new technology to ensure you get your prescriptions fast. We've always got you covered from prescriptions to all your home health needs. We've always been more than a pharmacy, still offering a huge selection of gifts and decor here at the new and improved Riggs Drugs.
Are you missing out on extra Medicare benefits that you may be entitled to? Hi, my name is Blake McCoy with Independent Insurance Consultants. If you have Medicare A and B and have Medicaid, TennCare, Q&B, or receive extra help on your prescription, drug premium, and copays, I want to make sure that you are receiving all the extra benefits that you are entitled to. Call me toll-free today, 1-866-691-5571, and let me help you.
Okay, now just let me say one thing. I am not in favor of unions in any state or every state. If it's a closed shop, then I'm for the union, meaning, just simply meaning that everybody is treated equal. I don't believe that if you've got a right to work law, there should not even be a union in that facility. Because it's not right for people, you end up with some people representing some that don't pay a dime, but the others pay their way. Now, let me just, and folks, I'm going to talk for just a second. I'm going to tell you one. In every facility Levi Strauss that had in the United States, there was 33 of them. Every facility that did not have a union, the people made more money than they did if they were unionized. Because they would fight your pay to the very last second. And if you walked out on them, they would just close down the plant and go somewhere else. So I'm just saying to you, the situation is you have a right to work law. You'll have the Democrats paying union dues, and you'll have the Republicans not paying union dues and getting the same benefits. Because I know I've been there. In fact, about it, when I worked at Westinghouse Electric, I was a shop steward. But anyway, you're on the air.
Hey, good evening, Mr. Gibb.
Hey, how you doing?
You got them fired up tonight.
I get fired up sometimes.
Hey, I read Ain Hister's article, and I got a different take off of it than I believe you did. My take on it was, you got, let's say you got a bad guy with a gun, and he comes up to a good guy, and he wants to take the good guy's wallet. Now, the good guy's got a gun. And let's say the good guy shoots the bad guy. Okay, that's one body count. Let's turn it around the other way and say the bad guy shoots the good guy. You've still got the same body count.
Well, I took it that way. But I'm saying, if I was going to go that direction, I think you would actually kill more, because you get in a shootout as other people get shot.
Oh, okay. Well, now, but I see catch-22 there then.
Yeah.
In other words,
and so that's the way I take it. Wait a minute. If you're going to kill each other, but you'll kill other people in the meantime, I believe. And can you imagine out in Colorado that whenever the guy went into the theater there and started shooting people, if it had been people up in the, because he was down front, and with people in the back row, and they just started shooting too, how many people really would have got killed?
Well, now, this is speculative.
Yes.
Had there been one person there who knew what to put around, I'm not talking about just everybody going whenever the if you see a flash, start shooting everybody.
Well, you know, hey, what I'm gonna do if I'm in there and I got my gun with me, I'm gonna start shooting towards that flash, regardless of who's running in front of it or running away from it.
Well,
aren't you? Aren't you?
Okay. In other words, I don't know how many people were killed there, but
I believe there was 11.
But the guy that done the
Seven
is still alive.
Yeah.
So, really, you can put all kinds of twists on this thing.
Right.
I've heard of here's where we get I don't know. We follow what we hear, and whoever writes stuff and tells it, put the sling on it or pitch on it. But here's where body count is body count. It's whenever they put these statistics out, that officer that shot that guy up there the other day, that was a body count. And let's say an officer gets shot today, that's a body count. It doesn't go into who was on the right side or who was on the wrong side. All they do is count how many bodies
that
die from gunfire. So that's kind of we can figure all sorts of things into it.
Yeah.
But myself, I think that if you're out there and you've got your family and you run up against one of these bad guys and you don't have a weapon or some means by which to defend yourself, that person, I think, is going to handle you ever how they see fit. But anyhow,
I'm not against someone having a gun. I really am not. All I'm saying is, because I don't think anybody's going to come and get my guns. We put all this fear stuff in our, and I guess if there's ever anybody that ever profited because of a fear of everybody coming and taking guns, was me. Did I ever tell you the time that at Levi Strauss, this guy come up to me and asked me to, said he had a gun he'd like to sell me. And I asked him, I said, what do you want for it? He said, I'll take $100, but I want to just get it and let you hold this to make sure that my money, you get your money back till Friday. I said, I have no problem with that. Well, he started to leave, and he looked around at me and said, now, if you can sell it before this is so help me God. He said, if you can sell it before Friday, go ahead and sell it. Well, I walked into my office, and just so happened the plant manager at Maryville, Tennessee was sitting in my office. And I can't remember who the other guy was. I believe it was a regional cutting room manager. And he said, what you got there? I said, which I shouldn't have had a gun in the plant anyway, but I took it in and put it in my office. Now I'm going to take it home at night. One of the beautiful guns. I mean, a beautiful gun. And it was a coat. And I'm pretty sure it was a coat, and had pearl handles, all this and that. And he looked at it and he said, what do you take for this? I said, what would you give me? He said, $500. I said, so? And I put the $500 in my pocket. Would you have done that?
I don't know. I would.
Well, I did.
Well, let me put it this way. It's according to whether. Well, anyhow, we're getting into all kinds of things.
But now, that's what I'm saying. We got too many guns out there that's in wrong people's hands. That person that sold me that gun probably did not have, and I wouldn't do it now, to tell you the truth, because that gun probably was stolen.
Well, it pays. Well, anyhow,
and I shouldn't have. We all learn lessons, don't we?
Oh yeah, and a lot of them we learn the hard way.
That's right.
But anyhow, let me touch on something else here. I think the gun thing is going to boil down to the person. And when you say that they won't come and get your gun, I'll have to agree with you. What most people would do is they would take their gun and surrender it.
Yeah.
Follow me? Right now, there's, well, anyhow, I'm getting into a whole different thing, but they wouldn't come and get your weapon. They would, the government or whoever does this, I'm going to say 90% of the weapon would be surrendered. And there's a many different ways to make a person surrender a weapon. With the government, all they've got to do is pass a rule. And I'll guarantee you, well, there's a large number of people out there who own weapons that would surrender them in a heartbeat if they were threatened by one thing or the other. But let me hit on something else here that y'all's talking about, like the economy, money, the cost of things, and all that stuff. The government controls these costs, and they play with us like I don't know what. But here's the key thing to the cost of about everything, and that's energy. The government, people don't stop to think about this, but what has happened to the beef price is the fact of this ethanol. And there's a standing law out there right now passed by the federal government that there's so much percentage of gasoline has to be ethanol at this time. Now, you can get a little bit of pure gasoline here and there, whatever, for certain uses. But this is what has shot up the cost of about everything is energy.
Oh, no question. Energy plays a big part. There's no question about it. But my way of thinking, and it's just my way of thinking, I know that and I just use McDonald's because it's usually just a $7.25 wage. Okay, if I increase their wages by $1, how many hamburgers do I have to sell whenever I've raised my price 1/3 over at least a 6-year period, but I've not increased the level of the pay that I'm paying the employees.
Well,
and then whenever I look at the profit margins of those things, it just blows you away.
Well, the profit margin, if you go back now, like McDonald's, you're talking franchise and a lot of other things. But anyhow, if we've, and I'm going to say this in a facetious manner, why don't we set us a thing across this whole country called maintenance of effort, to where every, whatever the price of the minimum wage just increases, let's say it increases 1% per year or 2% per year. Now, you know what this would do to our economy. Whenever you take out well, let me go back to this. The price of McDonald's hamburgers is not necessarily always set by profit margins. I know they've got to make a profit, but they also have to compete against all the other fast food places. And whenever there's not a coalition between these fast food places. They're all trying to have a little bit of a profit margin and still be competitive with the guy next door. So see, everything figures into this. And it's like an employee. An employee can negotiate his wage. He don't have to sit there at minimum wage. Right now, I don't want to even call it a free country, but they still can go from place to place. A person working at McDonald's or any other place that pays minimum wage has the right ability, if so motivated, to become all sorts of things. And I can name you a dozen, professions that all you got to do is just risk your life and you get paid more money. But anyhow, I've took a lot of your time and appreciate it. But whenever we look at these matters, if we'll look deeper and deeper, they're not near as simple as we think. And like, let's see, what was that other subject? Netanyahu?
Yeah.
Netanyahu. Now let me go back to the statement that you made there, that if Iran had 100 bombs, that they wouldn't use one of them. Is that correct?
That's what I believe.
Okay. Why is it that they tell Israel what they'll do to them? That their desire is to wipe them off the face of the earth.
It's just lip service. I believe that because I believe that if Iran or anyone set off a bomb in Israel, if it didn't kill but 10 people or if it wiped all of them out, the whole Iran would be gone. I mean, and many people around Iran would be gone. Maybe even we would be gone, because those things would rain down on. It'd be like So Russia would be in it trying to get us, and we'd be getting.
So it would be a world war. Everybody's come to everybody's defense. But
absolutely, and so I just don't think that there's anybody out there stupid enough to try to kill a few of Israelis, and I really do believe that Netanyahu is a bully. I really do.
Let me put a twist on this thing. These people, whenever we talk about Iran, we're talking about the terrorists or whatever else. Okay? These terrorists, and I don't understand their thinking, but they believe that they've got 70 virgins waiting for them if they die as a martyr.
And believe me, there are a few. All of them don't believe that way.
But all it takes is one in the right position that's willing to push the button to go collect his bounty. And whenever you're talking about, if you drop an atomic weapon on Israel, no bigger than it is, the death toll is going to be unbelievable.
Oh, no question. But let me ask you this.
Okay.
And I know that I've had at least 3-4 other calls, but my question to you is, why does Iran even need to make a weapon? Why do they need to make, whenever you got Pakistan, you got India, you got North Korea, there's ways you couldn't. The oceans are too big out there, and too many things can go this way and that way. If they actually was serious about getting a bomb just to hit Israel with it.
You don't think they're serious in making a bomb?
Oh, I don't. I'm sure they're serious in making a bomb. But if they wanted to hit Israel, they could get a bomb. They don't have to make it. We got so many crooks out there, and people would do anything for money. They'd get a bomb in there one way or another, just so Iran could throw it at Israel. There's no question in my mind about that.
If we're of the opinion that they would not use a nuclear weapon, then why are we trying to make a deal with them? Why don't we let them go ahead?
Well, that's the political way of doing things. Okay. But you don't want to take that total risk and just say, well. But I'm saying if they really wanted to hit Israel that bad, they would find a way, because they know that. Just like whenever, and you was alive whenever Khrushchev was wanting to come and get into Cuba and put a weapon there and they already had them. They had them there in Cuba, and they could have lit them up, and we'd have been lit up all over the East Coast. But they know that
I'd like to ask.
They know those silos in Montana and in Idaho and South Dakota and they'd be raining down on them like a hailstorm, and they don't want to kill everybody.
We got hit with this thing segues off into everything on the sun, but our entire nuclear facilities, as far as our intercontinentals and whatever, got shut down for just a little while through the computer. Sure, it's been back a ways that we got the whole thing shut down. Now, we're talking about how ready we are. You saw the thing in there where there was some kind of adjustment you had to do to these ICBMs, and it took a special ranch to do it. And we only had one of these ranches, and they sent it by UPS from one site to the other site. Now, that's just getting here to there. But if we feel that Iran wouldn't use this thing, why don't we just send them a few? And,
I just don't believe that they'd use it. I appreciate your call.
I thank you for your time, and I've took a lot of it.
You ain't taking that. No, I just had for some reason the phone is lightening up. They don't trust what I'm saying.
Well, you've got kids listening tonight. Thank you.
Okay, buddy.
You have a good one. Thank you.
I'm just 6 minutes away. Well, this is one of them that's been calling. You're on the air.
Hey, I'm back.
But now I've got 2 others on the line waiting too. So
okay, this real quick. This discussion about local businesses, raising their price. but their wages aren't going up. There's a lot of overhead to run the business that businesses have to contend with, and wages are one of the things they can actually fight to keep stable over a long period of time, but they can't do a thing about utilities, you know.
But what I'm saying is,
company is raising their rates.
If they're
shipping rates have gone through the roof, beef costs have gone through the roof, and like Aunt Hester said, lettuce, tomatoes, beef, everything's going up. They're not.
Except wages.
Because they raise the price don't mean they're passing their profit. Sometimes they're just having to try to stay above cost.
But whenever you look and see the top echelon, how their wealth is growing and the lower bottom is going down, that's not America.
You sound like a commie when you talk like that. Hey, you know the most powerful person in Dalton, Georgia? And also Las Vegas.
Wild Bill.
The most powerful person is the director of utilities. You know, you look at Las Vegas, all that electricity and water and everything, utility company decides who gets what. In the same way down in
Well, you know what the manager of Plateau Electric makes a year?
And he's one of the most powerful people in Scott County.
I doubt that, but he's
Tip you all off in a heartbeat.
$180,000 a year. Appreciate your call.
Don't tell ours that.
Appreciate your call. That's what he makes.
Say that.
You're on the air.
Yeah, well, I don't agree with Aunt Hester there. I think she make a better business maker than giving advice to poor people. But anyways, about the grandparents' rights law, is it already in effect?
In fact,
it was, I don't know.
In fact, about it, I kind of challenged some of that the other, and it's been a while back, and I talked to a lawyer, and he said that the grandparents do have some rights in the state of Tennessee.
Yeah, I know that years ago they used to have, but they, you know.
Yeah, he said they would still had some rights.
Yeah, and I think back to Aunt Hester subject there, we all respect each other, we're supposed to, but you know, when she's calling in talking, it's good once in a while to stop and listen to what you have to say, you know.
Appreciate your call.
Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, there's another call was waiting there. You hung up. Just better get it because I got 2 minutes. If you want to get it back, there you go. You're on the air.
Aunt Hester, I don't like her voice. It just sounds like a witch or something.
Oh my! Wait. Now, me and Aunt Hester gets along just fine. But
well, I know, but I don't like her voice. She's got such a raspy voice, and
because I pick on her a lot. I read her column every week.
I wish you wouldn't pick on her because she takes up so much time, and one or two of the other people do that. People don't get on there that would maybe talk about something that people were interested in besides just their opinion.
Oh, okay. What else would you like to talk about tonight?
Well, I just think that Aunt Hester needs to lower her.
Well, now wait. Don't mess around and get my callers to quit calling me.
Oh, they won't, but there's plenty of people.
Okay. Appreciate your call, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello.
Good morning, Ariel. Good evening, Ariel.
Hey, how you doing, Steve?
I'm better. How about you?
Doing good.
Let me turn this thing on mute here. I got you. Listen, just a couple of words here on what you've been talking about. This Nixon imposed it, wage and price controls. If it kept that intact, look what condition would be in. Wages are going to go so high, your profit could only go so high.
Right.
Kept the cost of living down. And now everything's, going sky high. You had several things I'd like to talk about to you tonight. But anyway, it's time for you to get off in here. So I'll call you next week and we'll talk a little bit, okay?
Okay, appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, baby.
Thank you. You're on the air. Okay. Now, there's another one called. I got time for one more call. But anyway, folks, a lot of these things, I'm not as strong a believer about some of the things that I talk about as I let on sometimes. But the thing about it is, it's things that need to be, get them out in the open. Talk about them. And try to get some understanding. Some people, I know that a lot of you understand things a whole lot different than the way I do, and I have to put a little drama in it to where whenever I read Ann Hester's column, I realized exactly what she said. That she said that guns. The thing about it is, you're not going to cut down on the number of deaths, because if I've got a gun and you got a gun, then me or you one's going to die anyway. And if I don't have a gun, I'm more likely to be the one that dies. Basically, is what she was saying. But anyway, I've enjoyed the heck out of it tonight. It's went too fast, just like it always does. And feeling better makes it even better. And oh man, I talked to a guy yesterday and said it's 40-something degrees or 50 degrees, and he felt like getting his shorts out. So anyway, good night, everybody. I hope to see you right back here next week.
Stop by Heights Finance Corporation